start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon, and the topic today is study the laws. There is another meaning of the description of the art of silence as a craft. One who seeks to become craftsman must study the trade that must study and train until he has mastered the skill of a given craft. There is no other way to become true expert in one's trade. Okay, so let's do it again and explain. There's another meaning of the description of the art of silence. One who seeks to become craftsman must study and train until he has mastered all the skills of a given craft. So if is any craft in anything in life, if you know, even if a person is talented, doesn't matter, right? Even if it helps a lot. A person is talented in a certain field, but unless that person works very, very hard on developing, improving the skill, it's not going to produce much result. Right, all of these musicians, right? They go through a lot of training, okay, practicing, right? Okay, there is no other way to become true expert in one's trade. Okay, with regard to a speech, one might be inclined to think, why must I study the laws of Shmiras Haloshon in all of the fine details? I will simply train myself to avoid conversations. That way, I will surely not transgress. This is a mistake, for not always the silence is desirable. In fact, there are even times when Halacha requires one to relate a negative information about given individual. Therefore, one must study and know the laws of the speech in all the details, so that he will be truly master the art of silence. We're going to do it again, and it's it's very interesting. So people who try to become closer to Hashem, and they start learning Halachos of brachas, right? Whoa! And they say for a cucumber I have to say different blessing than on my tea. That's too much. Who can remember all of these details? And people decide to do it, and like I heard it many times, that they would go do Birchas Hamazon every time. Literally, they would eat bread and say Birchas Hamazon. Why? Because it's too much to learn all of the other details, and they're afraid to make mistakes. Which is, on one hand, it's very commendable. On another hand, it's not practical, right? If you wanted to drink only coffee in the morning, you have only a certain time. You have 6 minutes, so you don't have time to eat bread and say Birchas Hamazon. So it's not practical. And many times, if you need just if you want to eat a cookie, so why would he say Birchas Hamazon, right, or say blessing on bread? So same ideas here. With regard to speech, one might incline to think, why must I study the laws Shmiras Haloshon in all of the fine details, right? It's too much. All of these laws, all of these cases and sub cases and exception to the cases, and exception to the exception of the cases. But the person might think it's too much. I will simply train myself to avoid conversation. So a person says, I'm not going to talk to anybody, but it's impossible. So we know Hashem created us, as a Targum uncle say, as a speaking being. So our soul is the one that help us or may make us able to speak. So to say that we're not going to speak, it's not practical. How about our family? Right, we're not going to talk to them, or right, people on our job or colleagues. Right, I will simply train myself to avoid conversation. So of course we understand it's not going to work. That way I will surely not transgress. Okay. This is mistake, and not always silence desirable, right? So you cannot always say keep quiet, right? Silence is desirable in certain situations, right? In fact, there are times when Halacha requires one to relate negative information about a given individuals, as we learned a few examples in the past, that you're obligated to step up, right? Like nobody asks you, but you have to volunteer the information because you're trying to prevent some undesirable thing to happen, right? Some partnership or marriage that is prone to be disaster, and because you have some information, you must speak up. You cannot be quiet, be tzaddik quiet. Opposite is true. Therefore, one must study and know well all of the laws of speech in all their details, so that he will truly master art of silence. Okay, so we learn little by little. Sometimes we go back, and of course this book is so there are so many classes, so many lessons, so you can go over and over for many times. Okay, as did many our great Chachamim actually do, and the most famous one is Manchester Rav. And he was Rosh Hashanah Manchester. He said, without Chofetz Chaim, I'm not leaving home. It's very interesting. The sages were very exacting in stating which craft should a man pursue in this world. For one might mistakenly think, it has been my way of many years to be careful and avoiding forbidden speech. I have more experience in this craft than the real craftsman has in his particular experience. Shmiras Haloshon is by now my second nature. To me, there is no longer any need for vigilance. Okay, to preclude this false notion, our sages said, which craft should one man pursue in this world? To indicate that all man's day in this world, he must be alert to the pitfall or forbidden speech. Okay, so let's do it again. And quickly we explain. So don't. One of the lessons that we must learn from this: don't be overconfident. Not only in this area, but in all of the areas. Right? Check yourself. Consult with other people. Okay. One more time. The sages were very exact when they say which craft a man should pursue in this world. Meaning, while you're in this world, try to improve this craft. Right? One might mistakenly think it has been my way for many years to be careful and avoiding forbidden speech. So I would say, yeah, you can say that maybe because you were in that such a circumstances. Maybe nobody provoked you. Maybe it was you were not put in such a situation that you must speak life is very different from what was a year ago, 2 years ago, and now it's very different. Circumstances are different. So just because you succeeded there does not mean that you're going to succeed now. Right? I have more experience in this craft than the real craftsman has in his practical exercise. But the sages were very precise. Right? Shmiras Haloshon is by now my second nature. Second nature to me. There is no longer any need for vigilance. Of course, we know it's absurd. It's not true. Right? So to preclude the false notion, the sages state which craft should the man pursue in this world. Right? So in this world, to indicate that all the man's days in this world must be alert to pitfall or forbidden speech. So always be alert, and there is no problem to say I don't know. Give me some time. I'm going to get back to it. Okay, so in order to avoid the evil speech. Okay, any questions on what you said?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
So what about the occasions where remaining silent may be offensive to the other party? In meaning not refraining ourselves from engaging in Lashon Hara, but refraining ourselves from speaking like nonsense or small talk.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in these occasions we have to remain silent if necessary. But what about if the other person gets offended? Let's say, for example, when my parents, I cannot speak Divrei Torah all the time. They are not familiar with the topic.
Mm-hmm.
If I remain silent when they're present, then that will be some sort of offensive to them. So what will be the case?
Why is it offensive? Why a 3-year-old has to talk we cannot stop them. But the grown ups sometimes they to themselves. Why do you have to talk all the time? I'm not talking about you, but other people. Like, what is the problem?
In my personal case, I used to be more talkative before I started to guard my speech, and they simply cannot deal with this. They don't know what's the deal. They may think that I don't know, upset with them or something like that. I don't know.
So okay. So maybe when you speak, it would be like extra friendly, extra nice, so to show that there is no there's nothing wrong. You understand? So you're not upset. You're not against them. You're not against anybody. I'm trying to talk less. So I also sometimes would have this actually situation, but with people like for example my uncles. I have few uncles. They like to talk. They would like to find out. They live in the different place, right? So they like to find out how's siblings, how's mother, how's this, how's that friend, how's that aunt, like all of these questions. So of course you understand it's prone to Lashon Hara. So I always say I don't know, let me send them my classes, and the guy said, my uncle said, I don't want your class, I want to talk to you. And I told him, you know what, I'm not interested in talking, small talk. So if you're interested in hearing me, if you truly want to hear me, here are my classes. That's all. If you listen to my class, you know everything that I think, almost. You understand? So, and of course you limit this conversation, and all of the occasions that you're together. You understand? So if you know that the occasions is going to be they expect you from 12 to 2, so I don't know, come 1:30 or something, and say apologize, I need to leave. So if you cannot excuse yourself at all from coming, so just limit the conversations. Okay. Yes, you're welcome. So eventually, this one of the uncles, I told them just let me alone. I mean, I'm not going to tell them whatever I know. What is their business? It's not like they're going to help somebody or I don't know to do. I mean, it's all a small talk, pure Lashon Hara. You understand?